What do you think rowing is all about? The boat race, the Olympics, Henley Royal Regatta maybe? Well, there are more than 15,000 active rowers in this country taking part in a sport that demands power, grace, skill, endurance, and an ability to break the pain barrier. At the Westminster Serpentine Regatta, we can see all those qualities and more in an international challenge. Britain, the Soviet Union, Italy, France, and West Germany. It's the world's premier power sprint event over a straight course of just 500 meters. The setting, London's Hyde Park on a clear autumn day, a tranquil scene that belies the effort and toil to come in the dash to the finish. One of the British team, Martin Cross, is joining our team for an inside view.
It's about power, speed, excitement. There's close finishes here. Races will be decided by no more than a foot. Tremendous entertainment. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, there are 6 events in the International Challenge. There are 9 members in each team, plus, of course, a Coxed, so they have to alternate between the races. First off, it's the Coxed Fours. The British team for the Coxed Four, then, Simon Beresford, Stephen Turner, Matthew Pinsent, and Terry Dillon. Now, Martin, who's going to be the big opposition here?
I don't think there's any doubt the Russians are going to be the strongest team. They've got the Pimenov brothers in, and they've got 2 lads from their Coxed Four who did a phenomenal time of 1:20 in training for the World Championships this year. I think they're going to be very difficult to beat. Our lads, I'd take for second place.
Race commentary is by Tom Boswell.
And straight away it looks as though the 4 Coxed Fours are off to a level start. Terry Dillon there, the stroke of the British Coxed Four, steered in the front, from the front, which is more usual these days with fours, by Pat Sweeney, of course, a man of great Olympic experience. It's only 500 metres, but this is where it begins to feel a long way. But Matthew Pinsent there, rowing in the red vest at the 2-seat for the Great Britain Four, he seems to be enjoying it. And that looks as though the Russians are out in front. The Britons just on this side of them in the yellow boat there seem to have a lot of work to do. That looks like more than a length of water to make up. That's the Russian crew making it look very easy. You can just see their cocks there pushing them towards the finishing line. As the crews come towards the finishing line, it looks like the Russians in front, making it look very relaxed and easy there. It looks as though they could go on another 1,500 metres. Yes, and that's the Russians across the line first. Where are Britain in lane 3? The yellow boat just across the line. Russians congratulating each other. That's the British crew, last across the line, but let's hope there are better things to come.
So a poor start for Britain, trailing the field. The Russians win as expected, but we were hoping for second. Martin Cross now joins his teammates for the inquest.
It was a bit scrappy. We caught a buoy about 250 metres, which threw us out of a rhythm a bit. But, I mean, it's very difficult to... we haven't been in the boat for a long time. Obviously, it's very difficult. It's unfamiliar for everybody, and it's a little bit of a lottery, I think.
You looked to be up there at 250 metres, and then the other crews came by. Did you have any problems in the last part of the race?
Not particularly. I think everybody was tying up then. Really, it's very tough when you're not sort of race prepared, if you like. But that was okay. I mean, there's plenty of racing to come. Hopefully, we can sort it out later on.
And that's the position after the first of 6 races. The Soviet Union taking the maximum 5 points, Britain just 1. Steve Redgrave races next, the Olympic gold medalist and our big hope again today. Redgrave sculls in a moment, but first we can take a look at the other side of rowing, away from the famous names and the big regattas. What makes a top oarsman? Well, schoolboy Greg Searle is working hard to find out. He might just be a future Redgrave, but he's on a long and lonely road.
Steve Redgrave's achieved a lot of, he's won a lot of things, got a lot of medals to his name. But I wouldn't necessarily say I'd like to be in Steve Redgrave's shoes. I've achieved a gold medal at the Junior World Championships this year in Hungary, which Steve Redgrave never did as a junior. He did get a silver medal. So up to now, I'm ahead of him. In order to be a good sculler by the summer, I need to get a lot of work done now in the winter, which means getting up early in the mornings, going for outings before school. I think it takes a certain type of person to be a good sculler, a single-minded ambition. I think in the kind of way you do have to be selfish. There is a lot of hard work goes into rowing training. You'll be putting in about 30 hours of training a week. On some days, you have to get up before school about 6, so about 6 miles rowing. To be a good rower or sculler, you have to be dedicated and enjoy it. You need to have the right mental attitude, the right size and strength, and a good technique. Well, I've certainly got the size and the strength. I can improve the technique, and I yet to wait and see if I've got the mental ability.
At 17, Greg stands 6 feet 5.5 inches and weighs 14.5 stone. Rowing dominates his life.
Actually, in training, it's just you on your own. There's often no one watching, and you can take it easy, whatever. And you can't let yourself do that too often because you'll drop behind. At the moment, I'm at Hampton School. I'm doing A-levels in geography, economics, and physics. I'm hoping to go on to university, maybe at Cambridge, to read land economy. Eventually, it would lead to a job which I'd be able to fit in with my rowing. Steve Redgrave's obviously a very good all-round rower and sculler who you can't help but admire. He's obviously achieved gold medals at the Olympics and the World Championships, and I would, at the moment, set that as a target to aim for.
So here in the final of junior sculls, that's for scullers under the age of 18, Greg has drawn lane 3. And it looks like a poor start for Greg, so let's hope he can settle down. The other 3 scullers there, you can see, well ahead on the first 4 or 5 strokes. That's better. Whoops, a little wobble there. But it doesn't seem to have perturbed him. He's still relaxed. That's good. That's the sculler in lane 1. You can see a little bit off course there, a bit near the boys. That's Ingram from Westminster. Also, of course, we've got the Bedford Phoenix sculler, Rimmer, and from Wallingford, Colborne. He's looking better. He's keeping the boat more level. Difficult in this popply water. Breathing deeply there, but I would expect to see more of a push. That's his parents. Perhaps the push can come from them, willing him along. Sculler from Wallingford there in lane 2 in the lead. Greg's still got a lot of ground to make up. It looks like more than a length. But he's coming up through. Can he make it by the finishing line? Here he comes, just a few more feet, but it's still a sculler on this side from Westminster, Ingram, looking as though he's out in front. So it's just now between the sculler on this side in lane 1. Watch Ingram there from Westminster. He's coming very close to the boys again. And he's caught one. That could just be the little bit that Greg needs to pull through. And he has. He's crossed the line first there. Greg Searle, a little bit of luck at the finish, which helped him pull up from that very bad start. Relief there for his parents. I bet they feel as though they pulled that boat across the line with him.
Greg, congratulations. That was a terrific race.
Thanks very much. It was pretty tough, yeah.
Take us through it, because it looked as though you had an awful start.
Yeah, I did have a very bad start. It took me a while to get into my sort of sculling rhythm.
and then I sort of got it together from about the middle onwards.
And what did you think when you actually crossed the line?
I was quite surprised. I was disappointed that I hadn't sculled better. I thought I should really have done better than that.
Even though you won?
Well, yeah.
Well, the expert is next. Steve Redgrave. Can he put Britain back on course in this international regatta? Welcome back to the Westminster Serpentine Regatta. Britain are in last place after the opening event, but now Steve Redgrave gets the chance to improve the position. This, the single sculls, of course, not one of Steve's Olympic events. It is in a field of real quality here. But what are his pre-race thoughts?
I think it's going to be the toughest I've ever had here in singles. I had a couple of good races last year and the year before here, but haven't done that much sculling now. I used to do quite a lot. And the scullers here are very good. You've got Janssen, who's the Russian, who finished third at the World Championships a few weeks ago, and Hanley, who's the German, who finished fifth, I think. I don't think I've ever beaten Hanley. I like doing well in the single because it's you against somebody else. There's nobody else helping you or hindering you. It's down to you. So if you fail, you failed. It's not a team or a crew that has failed. So there's a lot more pressure from that point of view. But it's very exciting when you do win because you know it's you that's done it and nobody else.
Now, as we get a bird's eye view of the style of the Italian, Filippo Soffici, it looks to me as though Redgrave alongside him is in fourth place. Martin Cross?
Steve's got a bit of a record to maintain here. He's won on the last two occasions, and I've been really impressed with the way he's sculled at this event. He's always wanted to be a single sculler, the top single sculler in the world, and he can perhaps manage it over 500 metres, the distance here. He's never been able to pull it off at the World Championships. Here he's racing Janssen, the guy who did an amazing last 500 metres, 3 or 4 seconds quicker than anybody else in the field at the World Championship final. He's racing Handel, the man from West Germany who came fourth. These two top-class scullers, and with rumours abounding that Steve's going to race in a single scull next year, I think it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this regatta and see what his form's like.
You can see the concentration on Steve's face there. It's only 500 metres, but he's feeling the distance. He's still got the Russian on the far side, Janssen, you can see in the lead at the moment, but perhaps in closer contention. On this side, you've got the Italian, Soffici. That's the Russian first across the line, so it's a race for second. Steve just makes it there, just second. That's Janssen, the Russian sculler. An easy winner there, at least he made it look very easy. Stephen looking a bit disappointed with himself. It's his strength that's on test, though, today. Of course, he's racing in several of the events here at this regatta.
And there's the confirmation. Steve Redgrave second for Britain, welcome points, but he's almost 3 full seconds behind the Russian Janssen.
It was a very class field, without a doubt. Wasn't happy with the way I sculled. Last year I got off to a dream of a start. This year I didn't. Janssen did, got an early lead, and just wasn't feeling very strong. Not feeling strong at all today, actually.
We looked at you on the video and we could see that you were really puffing and blowing, and compared with Janssen, more relaxed. How much do you feel he's got an advantage over you because he's spent the year sculling?
I think it's quite equal, actually, because I'm in my own boat, a boat that I'm used to, but then again I don't do a lot of sculling, where he's in a strange boat. So I think it's quite equal. I've got an advantage being in my own boat. He's got an advantage, he's been sculling all year.
You've beaten Soffici, the world junior champion. You've beaten Handel, who came 5th in the year now on this race. What do you feel about the single scull next year?
Oh, I think I'll still give it a miss for a couple of years. Try and get to another Olympics and try and get another Ryan gold, and then think about sculling after that.
The points so far then, a maximum 10 for the Soviet Union, Italy is second, Britain move up to third with Germany, and then come the French.
Now, the Serpentine Regatta is not just about international rowing in sliding seat rowing boats. Here we have the Dragon Race. Each dragon boat has a large crew of paddlers and a drum beater at the front that beats out the rhythm, beats as fast as he or she can to extol his or her crew. You can see already the boats are up to a very, very good pace. And what a race this is going to be, because the winning crew gets to represent Great Britain at the international race in Hong Kong. And that means, therefore, a free trip to Hong Kong for the winners. It's a very close race so far, though. Can dragon racers race neck and neck? It certainly seems like it. Not like these boats. They're quite big, quite huge, and require a lot of energy to push them through the water. But look at the speed, look at the bow wave coming off that boat. This sport's grown terrifically in Britain these last few years and has achieved massive sponsorship. Must be, what, only 20 feet between the first dragon there and the last, so it's going to be a tight finish. It's an event steeped in tradition. Dragon boat racing goes back many, many years. And I'm told that before every race, a local priest has to come along and dot the eyes of the dragon. Each painted dragon's face on the front there has its eye dotted in a very traditional service. The Kingston crew with a very good rate of striking there, looking really practiced and determined. Look at the way they're breathing, lungs full of air. What a race this is going to be. It could be anybody's. You've got in lane 3, Way. In lane 4, the Kingston crew. In lane 5, Amethyst. And what a close finish. It looks as though it's between lanes 3 and 4. That's between Way and Kingston, but we'll have to have a photo finish on that, I think. That's the Kingston crew. They don't know they've won. It's Amethyst. That's Kingston's young drummer with his war paint on. I wonder if he managed to push his crew, his team, across that line first. Let's see, this is it in slow motion. Lane 4 looks as though it just has it. That's Kingston have won the trip to Hong Kong to represent Great Britain. And they look well pleased with that.
Now then, it's back to the main event, the International Challenge. As we go into the double sculls, the Soviet Union are in the lead, Italy are in second place, and Great Britain are level in third with West Germany.
So quite a responsibility on the shoulders of Jonathan Singfield and Salih Hassan. Britain in need of points to catch the Russians. It'll be no easy task.
It's a new combination. We haven't been out yet. It's our first test, really. We're racing perhaps settled crews, but it's 500 meters and
anything can happen.
Yeah, technique, comfort, sort of into the equation. It's just all out, really, from the word go. It's 1.5 minutes of agony.
That's the Germans in lane 1. Lane 2, we have the French double. Then the Italians in lane 3. The Russians in their distinctive red tops in lane 4. And on the far side, the Great Britain double. So, Martin Cross, what do you think are Britain's chances in this race?
A young pair, but I think Salih Hassan has shown an outstanding record in double sculls. Last year, against all the odds, Salih Hassan with a different partner, Adam Cliff, beat the Russians. And the guy is rowing with John Singfield. Although he's young, he's won a bronze medal in the World Championships in rowing in Bled. They're untried combination. I don't think they'll win. I think the favourites undoubtedly must be the West Germans, who produced the 5th place in Bled, and at 500 metres were up with the rest. So I think they'll be very difficult to beat.
So it's Salih Hassan and Johnny Singfield there on the far side, looking fairly relaxed. Salih looking over his shoulder there. But it's the Germans on this side to watch, and if the British pair can't win, of course, every place up counts for a few more points, so let's see how they can do. And they're off. Germans on this side have got a very good start. There's the British double, settling down now. Germans, they're bouncing their boat a bit, but my golly, look at that power, look at that punch. Watch the blade work very, very well together. And they're well out in front there. But this is the British double. Seem to have settled into a good rhythm there. Germans on this side, just ahead of the Russians on the far side. It looks as though the race is between those two countries. Britain here not beaten if we can just move up and gain a few extra points. So that's the German double, looking very comfortable and very practiced, pulling away to the finish there, just ahead of the Russians in lane 4. Excusable perhaps that our British double is not in contention, but it is their first race. And that's the Germans first across the line, just over a length clear of the Russians there. British on the far side, looks like in 4th position. A very creditable result indeed.
The Germans really powering to that first victory of the regatta then. 500 metres covered in just 1 minute 32.19 seconds. Britain's untried pairing finishing 4th. The overall placings at the halfway stage, the Germans moving up to 2nd place thanks to that victory, but the Soviet Union in command with 14 points. Britain 4th, need a comeback.
That's it for now then, but still to come, Stephen Redgrave up against his old rivals, the Pimenov brothers from the Soviet Union.
Ever since I've been running the pair, started off with Andy. I've raced them about 6 or 7 times now. I never lost to them. But here at the Serpentine, we raced them 2 years ago, and we only beat them by about 1 foot. So 500 metres is their distance, and I think our asset in the pair is our endurance and our overall speed, not sudden quick change of speed. So this year it could be quite fun. It could go either way, but we'll see what happens.
The Westminster Serpentine Regatta.
Redgrave, the Olympic golden boy. Today he must perform at his best if Britain are to win the Serpentine Regatta.
Welcome again to Hyde Park, where we're at the halfway stage of this international sprint challenge, rowed over 500 metres of the Serpentine Lake. Stephen Redgrave goes next in his Olympic gold medal winning event, the Coxed pairs, but not with his Olympic partner, Andy Holmes. These days, it's Redgrave and Simon Beresford, but the opposition is just as tough.
The Pimenov brothers are here for the Soviet Union, arch rivals to Redgrave through many top regattas around the world. And the pressure's on. The Soviet Union lead this competition with 14 points. Britain down in 4th place with only 7. Redgrave and Beresford must come good.
Ever since I've been running the pair, started off with Andy. I've raced them about 6 or 7 times now. I never lost to them. But here at the Serpentine, we raced them 2 years ago, and we only beat them by about 1 foot. So 500 metres is their distance, and I think our asset in the pair is our endurance and our overall speed, not sudden quick change of speed. So this year it could be quite fun. It could go either way, but we'll see what happens.
The one thing about the Pimenovs is they move their boat quick in the first 500 metres. I think whenever they've raced, and they've been racing now for something like 10 years internationally, they've always been in front at 500 metres. They're strong lads, they're tall, technically an excellent crew. And I think that one thing you can be sure of is they've come here to beat Steve Redgrave. It's going to be particularly interesting because this will be the first time that Steve and Simon have raced the Pimenov brothers over this distance in that combination. Previously, Redgrave's been with Andy Holmes. The form of Redgrave and Holmes was that they went out tremendously quick and basically were untouchable. Perhaps the only ones that could compete with them were the Pimenov brothers. This year with Steve and Simon, they've had round about the same speed over the course, but noticeably slower in the first half. So I think Steve and Simon are going to be on particular edge because the Pimenovs are the ones that have got the speed in the first 500 metres. I would take them to win.
Race commentary is from Tom Boswell.
That's the French in lane 1. In lane 2, the Pimenovs. That's Yuri and Nikolai. Lane 3, we have our own British pair. Simon Beresford, Stephen Redgrave. In lane 4, the Germans in the black tops there. And in lane 5, the Italians. That's the British pair right in the middle in lane 3. Ideal place to watch the opposition, of course, in lane 2, the Russians. And they're off. So can the fast start of the Russians put them ahead of the British pair? Any win over the Pimenov brothers really counts for Stephen Redgrave, but the Pimenovs are equally determined. It's the French in lane 1, finding it a little bit difficult to steer. A bit of a boat wobble there. Looks as though Simon and Steve are a little bit ahead. Still a bit tense there, Stephen, on his face. It's the British pair just out in front. So their practice has paid off. They're, what, half a length, but the race is not over yet. This is where the Pimenovs are going to have to push, and it looks as though they are. They're beginning to push towards the finish. But the British look well in control. Simon Beresford at bow there. Still the British out in front. Coming up towards the finishing line now, it's the British pair well in front and looking as though they're, yes, able to cruise towards the finishing line. Steve just having a word with his partner Simon there. And that's the British pair well out in front, an easy win for them above the Pimenovs, their arch rivals. Steve there looking very pleased. Obviously, all that practice has paid off. Stephen looking very pleased there. Good win for Britain.
Yes, a marvellous performance by Redgrave and Beresford, Britain's first victory of the regatta. The Pimenovs are almost 2 seconds behind.
Pimenovs had problems with their boat beforehand. Something wrong with the rigger. I don't know what. They were trying to put something right just before the start, which must have given them not a very comfortable row. But we did everything we wanted to do. Got out very hard, got into a very easy pace. The last 100, we just paddled it in. The race that I thought the Pimenovs would probably beat us ended up being the easiest one we've ever raced them.
And those 5 points improve Britain's chances enormously. In third place now, behind the Soviet Union and West Germany. There are still 2 events to come, including the eights, which carries double points for the winners. So as we move into the quadruple sculls, everything's still to play for. Martin Cross, one of our commentary team, is in this event. He's wearing the blue cap. And as he prepares himself and his British team, we can share the drama from inside the boat.
Quality field, be a good race. Everyone switched on because it's going to happen soon. Check everything. Everything's tight.
It's the Britons in lane 1 on the inside, the Russians in the centre, and on the far side in lane 5, the Germans.
Get ready, flags up. Long, relaxed.
Attention. Set, go!
A good clean start. It looks like the British are up.
Red. Red. We're in lead. We're in lead.
Martin sounds surprised, but they are in the lead. The British are ahead. A bit close to the boys there, but in the lead. They can just keep the pressure up. Looks as though the Russians are pushing through there in the centre.
Ready? Push!
And it's a concerted push they need just to push back past those Russians. Very difficult to steer these boats. The Coxed, of course, one of the oarsmen in each boat, steers with his foot, and as well as that, he's got to be sculling along as fast as he can and as hard as he can. But it's still the Russians out in the lead in the centre there. Can the British come with a final sprint to the finishing line? Not far to go now. Looks as though the discipline and the cohesion has kept the Russians in front as they approach the finishing line. That's the Russians across the line first, and that's the British across in 4th place. A very, very determined effort indeed, and so good to see the British out in front at the start. The Russians very pleased with the points they've got there. The British looking tired, but a very, very sporting effort.
And there's confirmation, Britain managing only 4th, those powerful Russians collecting their 3rd win in 4 races. West Germany 2nd, Italy 3rd, France 5th.
Martin, that was hard.
Yeah, it was very hard. I knew it was going to be hard. It was wonderful, though, feeling. I looked across after 20 strokes and we were up by about 2-3 metres, and I just thought, fantastic. And I forgot about all the calls I was supposed to make because I didn't expect to be up in a field of that class.
We heard one moment when you seemed to try and step it up again.
I know. All you can say is you can grunt out one word. And the thing is that we've only been out a couple of times in this boat, and the other lads have been rowing all year round. But there's tremendous talent there. I mean, if we could compete in a field of that class, then we could do well if we stayed together. But basically, you've got to be together for longer if you're going to push when you're going flat out and still go faster. And that's the thing that we lacked compared with those other scullers today.
The Soviet Union looking very strong now, 6 points clear of the Germans, 9 ahead of Britain, but with double points for the winners of the last race, Britain could still get a share of 1st place.
Although the international event here is for men, 1/3 of the rowers in this country are women. But whether you're a man or a woman, getting to the top is just as demanding.
It's not a battle against the men, but it's like a battle to prove that
get the recognition.
To get the recognition and prove we can be as good as they are.
I think it's a shame that at the moment that we don't seem to be able to produce medalist standard women crews. Rowing is maybe a little bit different from some other sports in that it really is more difficult for the women to break through at international level. I mean, I really believe that it's more difficult, but not impossible.
The Eastern Bloc countries take their women's rowing very, very seriously and pump a lot of money in, and they do it full time, where our women don't. They can't take the time off to do it from college, from work to do that. So it's very difficult for them to compete on the same level.
The difficulty is not actually being a woman rower, it's trying to find time to get some money. Because I'm at college, I've found the only way I can do this is actually working in a bakery in Henley in my lunch hour between college, because I can't have a Saturday job because I'm racing at regattas. I go to Henley College, which has rowing, but it's not to the extent of, say, a rowing type school. I'm studying a leisure management course. Basically, I wanted to go into this to be involved with something to do with sport. You're going to have it put off and go round?
No, do it tomorrow, yeah.
The training, I fit in between college time. College gives me an hour on Mondays and Wednesday afternoons, and all the rest is after college. To get where I am now, I've got a lot to thank to my dad. He's always pushed and always backed me up. He's pushed me through club rowing, and then he took me to all the trials, for junior trials.
Okay, if you go and do some steady state then. Okay? And you'll be back in about an hour and then I'll be here to pick you up, take you home again.
Okay. Recently I've been racing as senior one, so I'm nearly at the top, racing all the senior people who have been internationals. I'm 18, so to go into the senior squad I'm very young, but I'm just, securing my place. You have to have the right mind to go out and do the training. You usually find that it's people that have got what it's got in the mind to actually go out and win and say, I'm going to get faster than that person, I'm going to beat him. It helps having your own boat because you can go out when you want. I was lucky my sister bought or put up the money for my boat. She was the only one with the money at that time. My dad has been paying her back. I was meant to because I haven't got any money. I haven't, but when I get some money, I'll offer it him, but I don't know whether he'll take it.
That boat is worth over £2,000, and that's not including the sculls. They're around £200 the pair as well, so it's quite a sum of money she's got to collect. Helen sculls in a very relaxed way, making it look easy, and it's not easy. On the near side, you've got the sculler from St Neots, that's Carrington. This is the final, the ladies' junior sculls. Not far to go now. Helen well in control there. Just over a length in the lead. Obviously a very well-practiced sculler. She works well in the water. A little bit off course there. Boys going under her sculls. Looking over her shoulder towards the finish. A few seconds now to go. And there she is in first place, second place on the near side, St Neots. So that's Helen Bauscher, winner of the ladies' junior sculls. A very creditable performance. She's obviously got a long way to go, this young sculler.
The eights are still to come in the International Challenge. The result of the regatta and pride is still at stake. Also coming up, a rather different but equally tough way to row your boat.
Britain's 8 prepare for the demanding and exciting race which will decide the Serpentine International Challenge. You can see it shortly after a very different but equally grueling school of rowing. This is gig boat racing, when the fishermen and lifeboatmen of Cornish villages battle it out in the Atlantic waves.
Come on, cover it!
Today they've brought their gigs to the calmer waters of central London. Tom Boswell describes the final.
It takes a different breed of oarsmen to row like this. Normally they're used to really rough conditions out at sea, but here they are on the Serpentine, making things look slightly awkward the way they go round the buoy. When they're racing on the coast, they go out round a buoy and back to the shore and then have to carry their boat up the side. And what to the finishing line, and what a way to finish a race. But anyway, now they're racing round a buoy. This is their first turn. They're being told exactly what to do by their Coxed, who takes a great part in the race. And you see how also when they're going round a corner, round the buoy, they have to move an oar from one side of the boat to the other to help pull it round. Those on the inside sort of dig their oars in, those on the outside pull like crazy. And a very awkward style of rowing too. Look at the way they move their elbows round in a sort of arc, almost as though they were opening a bottle, but they're not. They're pulling hard and really screwing his oar round in a sort of arc. But it's a very, very serious sport. Normally raced, as I say, out in the open, out in the sea, and the Serpentine must be very calm for them. But it's still a long way. In of course, the racing boats, 500 metres is a sprint, but in these, it's quite a long way. They're racing further than the 500 too. They've got to go up, round the corner, back, and now second corner, and back up the course to the finishing line. Three crews very close together. It could be anybody's race. Bit of pandemonium around the corner there. And endeavour is the right word. This is the crew from Mevagissey. Behind there in Dasher, the white boat, is the crew from Padstow. And the third boat's from Mount Bay. But it looks like Mevagissey made the best of that corner. They're in the lead at the moment. What a funny way to pull on a blade handle. Anyway, it's still Mevagissey out here in front. Holding their lead, pulling away from Padstow at the far side there. So it's Mevagissey first across the line. Padstow just coming up. So that's a great win for Mevagissey. They seem very proud. Oars upright and straight.
And so to the eights and the climax of our international challenge, and a race which carries extra points. This is the situation. Britain are 9 points behind the Soviet Union, but we can get 10 points for a win. And if Russia finish last, well, they get only 1, so we could share the trophy. The Russians aren't at their best in the eights, so Britain's crew, coaxed by Pat Sweeney, know there's more than pride at stake here. How will the Cox handle it?
What you have to do is you have to try to use your voice, use the right words. Every crew will be different, and each athlete is different. And it's really trying to find what will motivate the athlete to just draw themselves out. In something like this, where we're thrown together just at the weekend, it's a little bit more difficult in that I don't know all the athletes as well. I know most of the ones we're with here. So we should hopefully get something out of them.
Confident words. Our own expert, Martin Cross, competes again in this race, and we can share his thoughts at the start.
Every time we've raced this, it's been won by a foot or lost by a foot. So you can imagine that there's going to be very small distances determining who's winning and losing. And I think the people out there in the race aren't even going to know who's won until they put the photo finish up. It's going to be hell. I would take the British crew to win. I think they're rowing in a boat which they're used to. All the lads have actually rowed together over fairly long periods of time. They're mostly rowers as opposed to scullers, whereas in the other team, the scullers have got to fit into the boat and groove together with the rowers. So this is the event which Britain stands to be strongest in.
So it's Britain in lane 2, the Russians in lane 1 on the near side, the Germans in the centre, and the Italians and the French on the far side. And they're off. Essential to have a good start this. 500 metres is the total distance to row. Russians looking as though they're having a little bit of blade work difficulty there. Splashing a lot of water, finding it difficult to find the right height in the water. Bouncing their blades as they come forwards. Not the characteristic Russian styles. This is the engine room of the British 8. You can see Steve Turner on your left, in front of him Matthew Pinsent, in front of him Terry Dillon. And it looks as though the British are edging out in front. But the Russians, where are they? They're off to the right. They would only finish finished last. That's the stern pair of the British 8, Stephen Redgrave at stroke. There are the Russians. That's the British, still just out in front. Sweeney, the Cox of the British 8, pushing them. So can the British keep out in front? Can they get that final push towards the finishing line? They're certainly not far enough ahead yet. They've got to push towards the finishing line. Looks like they could be just ahead, but it's a very, very close finish indeed as they come up to the finishing line. Which crew is it? The Russians on the near side look as though they were nearly last there too. That's the British crew acknowledging the Russians. I think they may have done enough. They only had to finish 4th to win this competition. But have the British won? Let's have a closer look. Edging just towards the finishing line. There, and it is the British first across the line.
So victory for Britain in a race that really did live up to expectations. West Germany 2nd, Italy 3rd, and the Soviet Union just creep into 4th place. And that is just enough to give them victory overall. Britain finished the regatta strongly to share 2nd with West Germany, then come Italy, and finally France.
And that's it from the International Regatta on the Serpentine here in central London. The Soviet Union are the winners, but we've seen some magnificent action, and with Martin's help, learned a little bit more about this sport of rowing.